Hey everyone, good afternoon and welcome to Lead with Excellence training video. I wanted to, I went back to my video and I needed to do a couple of technical things on it. So today I want to share with you some really key ideas about values, core values, and why they're so important to your leadership and your organization. This video is going to give you a quick outline of how you can really do it as a leader who's trying to drive positive change, who's still working on leadership by values. And I love this topic, and I think that many people can resonate with this topic because values are important to your leadership in so many ways. Each one of us can go back to someone that we truly admire as a leader, someone who knows what they stand for, someone who's really clear about their own core values, and they're exemplified in their behavior, it exemplified in their performance. One of the things that I love to say about culture and behaviors is that when the values come to life, when those values are exemplified in your employees' behaviors, are exemplified in your leadership, this is when you know that the core values are the ones that actually make decisions easier for your team. You're coaching your team based on all those values. You're communicating those values each and every day through not only words but also deeds. And I want to give you a roadmap, or if you will, four strategies to actually implement those and pick up that energy that your organization needs in order to identify those core values and also putting them in place each and every day. When you're thinking about great cultures, you're thinking about great companies, one of the best things that is a common theme for those companies, especially in customer service, is they are pretty clear about those values from the very beginning, but they don't just leave those values on the wall or an employee handbook. It's a constant communication and also constant leadership by example. So take any company that you truly admire them as a company. Maybe you're part of a company that actually creates momentum around those values, and you can go back to different stories and you can go back to those and really see clearly why those values create companies who are great places to work. Employees are happy to work there. They're more engaged. They see that their customer service is excellent. So I encourage you to think about, first of all, as a team, as an organization, or as leaders out there, I would take a day to create those values. I'm actually working with a client right now on creating those values. And it's a great exercise because it creates intention behind your purpose and what you're trying to achieve as an organization. And if people are connected to those core values and they dedicate the time, they're committed to those values, and they can deliver, communicate them, live those values, it makes a huge difference in your culture. So number one is that I strongly encourage you as you're going about your leadership. You want to be an effective leader when it comes to presenting those values and also creating momentum around that. Number one is set clear, compelling core values. And when it could be between 3 to 5 core values. Don't make a whole bunch of list of core values, because sometimes what happens to organizations and leaders is they create so many core values that people get lost, people get energized by them in the beginning, and they see the words and they're like, oh my God, this is really great. Hey Sherry, thanks so much for joining in. So create something that people can be inspired by. It's compelling, it's easy to remember, it's something that each person on your team is continuously reviewing, continuously looking at, because they can see that that's something that speaks to their hearts and mind. Your responsibility as a leader is to engage with people, is to be that facilitator who is creating engagement, who constantly is asking questions, having people, yes, definitely it is. I'm very passionate about that myself. So is to come up with a group of people, a team that's going to committed to that change, and ask questions and reflection and finding out what those values are and what is their purpose in serving people in your organization, both internal customers and external customers. Why do you see that those values are so important? So this exercise that I actually do with companies and organizations have become very kind of a moment for people that creates that connection, that emotional connection. It also creates commitment of where people wanting to go together. So I see some more people logging in, so great, thank you so much. And feel free to share this video with other people that you think that their leadership and values will come to life, their company is going to be loving this exercise. So number one was setting those clear values, compelling values in a clear manner. Now let me give you an example. If you're talking about integrity, you're talking about accountability, you're talking about trust, you're talking about communication, each one of those must be broken down to what they mean for your team and for your organization. Without that, there's no clarity. And so if you have those values and people have clarity around them, so if you take accountability, for example, what does accountability mean for us? If you're talking about integrity, what does integrity mean for us? And it could be a one statement. You'll see other companies that are creating values. What I love about their value statements is they're clear, they're understandable, they're creating that emotional connection with other performance-based values. So I want you to think about what are those core values, what do they mean, and why should we do them? The next thing is communicating those values to the rest of your team, your organization at large. And some companies have town hall meetings, some people have focus groups, some people have departmental meetings, some people have coaching one-on-one as a venue for people to be connected, and there's a dialogue. Any opportunities for that communication to take place about those values, so you're reinforcing those values through that communication. And that's what great leaders do. They are effective communicators. They find the platform to communicate over and over and over until it's clearly articulated but also understood from everyone in your organization. The next thing is aligning people around those core values. You know, people have to be energized around them. People have to show that they are ready to model, they're ready to commit to it, they're ready to step up their game in order to live those core values. It's about bringing those to life, so you're aligning people toward those core values. It doesn't help anyone if you're just leaving that in the handbook or leaving it in the HR office. You really got to have people who are connected to it emotionally, intellectually, and also in their deeds, and not just in words. The last one is really holding people accountable to those core values. I think that the best organizations are willing to hire and fire based on those values, and it may seem harsh, but if you think about it, what's the reason you created those core values if they're not important to you? So the importance of holding those values dear is to hold people accountable toward those values. That's how well they will know that your leadership takes place. They'll know that you're ready to act on those values each and every day. But if you're not doing anything about it, you're not holding people accountable, then people will not take you seriously as a leader, and they will not take their organization commitment to leadership by example. And so the accountability part of it is critical. It's critical to continuously drive those values, communicate those values, and share positive stories about those values, because people relate to stories. People love the connections, the emotional connections, the examples. How do those values really exist for you? You are really can tell people actually model those examples and the values that are truly, truly critical to your team and your culture. The culture, the values is really the foundation. And I love this one. Values govern behaviors, and behaviors determine performance. So I want to leave you with these thoughts. Feel free to shoot me a comment or write a comment. Love your engagement, and feel free to share this video with other leaders as well. So have yourself a great day. I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.